Hello again. Now that we have all the parts of our assembly, we can start adding some appearance and then make the motion work. Well, let's see. I will go to appearance and I will go to the favorites because I can save favorites appearance, and I will put a specific color, a different color on each part that will do a different motion. I will put green on the crank, I will put pink on the slotted link, blue on the holder, and yellow on the slider. I can click close. In this way, we will see very more clear how the things will work. Okay, so what I need to do here, I will add a slider joint, here a revolve joint as well, and that's it. But let's try to add some as-built joints. Well, I have an error. There are no components to assemble in this design. Well, what's the problem? I have only bodies. So it is the point to create from my bodies components. But hear me out. The good practice is to start with bodies inside of components. So first we create the components and then we do the bodies. But in the purpose of showing you that I can create assemblies with bodies, I only design bodies. In the next videos, we'll start from components. Okay, now I can use as-built joint. What's the difference between joint and as-built joint? Joint is used when the assembly isn't put it in place, and as-built joints is used when everything is in place. In our case, everything is in place, so I can just go and let's start with the crank. I need to select the crank and the holder, and I will go to revolve joint, and I will select this part as a position, and I will click OK. Good, one joint. Let's do the other ones. As-built joint, I will select the slotted link and the holder, and I will do the joint here. I'll click OK. And the last joint is a slider one, as-built joint between slider and the holder. I will go to slider, I will select the direction, and I will click OK. Awesome. Well, okay, everything is good. So let's try to move the crank. So it will move the slotted link and we'll move the slider as well, right? Well, not really, because right now are just components that don't know from each other. What I need to do is to start to enable contact set. Okay, so what does this button? Activates contact analysis between components in contact sets. Contact sets are managed in the browser. So I will click enable contact set, and I will click here, right click here, new contact set, and I will create a contact set between the crank and the slotted link. I will click OK. And now if I will move the crank, you can see that the slotted link is moving as well, because now we have a contact set between those two components. They are aware of each other, okay? And the next thing that I need to do, okay, I will put in place, is to make a contact set, again, new contact set between the slider and the slotted link. I'll click OK. I'll rename those. So this is crank slotted link, and this one is slider slotted link. Okay, so let's see if it works. And it works perfectly. And as you can see, we have from the rotational motion, a linear motion. Okay, now for the last thing, let's create a motion study to animate this one. So I will go to the assembly, motion study, I will select the crank joint and I will go from 0 degrees to maximum at step 100. I will select the speed and I will click OK. And I will open it from here. Again, I'll put like this, and we can see that our little mechanism is working. So that's it about the crank and slotted mechanism and how you can design it. The motion study will remain here. We can see that it works. So if we add here a motor that will rotate the crank, we will create from rotational motion a linear motion. And if we put here a piston, we'll create from linear to rotational motion. I will click OK. And I will save it at contact sets, appearance, and joints. And that's it with the crank and slotted link mechanism.